I don't know who's on the play either.
This is another list from
Welcome everyone to round 3 at Legacy Masters 2018. I'm joined by Liam. I'm Ben McCoy. We are watching Hamish Gould on Esper Mentor versus Jake Sims on Lands.
This will not be a quick game, but I think it'll be a pretty interesting game. A lot of back and forwards.
Yeah. Is there anything spicy in Jake's list there that you want to talk about?
There's a couple of sort of one-offs that get played in some land lists, but not all of them. There's one Mana Bond and one Morton Vortex. So he can sort of... Mana Bond, he'll be able to get a lot of lands into play, but looks like we're off to the races already.
We forced the will on
Mox Diamond.
Mox Diamond it is, yeah. And there's some pretty epic alters all the way through Hamish's deck. I've been told about, and lots of different people have altered them. He hasn't had just one person do it, and I don't even know whether he's done some himself, but I think everything in the deck is altered, although now that I've said that, I don't think that Deathrite Shaman looks altered.
Yeah, it's a big commitment to alter some of these cards,
yeah,
but
absolutely.
it does look pretty cool.
And it comes with risk too. Okay, Tabernacle.
Okay. And I like it's being played up the top as a...
Yeah. It's a visual aid. Everybody does some things a little bit different. Tabernacle being one of the few lands in the game actually that doesn't tap for mana.
So we just heard that unfortunately some of Hamish's alters did not quite pass the muster with the head judge.
Yeah,
I'm sure they look great, but yeah, with competitive REL, you've got to
make our judges happy.
Exactly.
That's right. So that's probably a Deathrite Charm, and we're in amongst them. Interestingly, he's only playing 3 main deck Deathrite Shaman, which I can get on board with because I don't like the card Deathrite Shaman, to be honest. It's just boring. Everybody plays it.
I mean, Hamish does have a couple of fun offs as well, which we might see come into play a little bit later.
Yeah. Some really cool one-offs, actually. I'd like to see Factor Fiction cast. It's always an interesting, fun card to play. And there's a Jace Vryn's Prodigy in his deck. 3 Monastery Mentors.
I mean, Hamish he's getting choked a little, not a small amount on mana with the Tabernacle, but he keeps drawing lands and has a Deathrite, so he's not he's not slowed down as much as I'm sure Jake would like him to be.
Yeah, no, there's no wastelands in Hamish's deck either. I don't believe in the sideboard either. No, so that Tabernacle's here to stay, I do believe.
Esper Mentor has one. It's just a 1 basic, 2 basics, 3 basics. So the Ghost Quarters will be able to do a little bit of work
as well in the Lands deck, Jake's Lands deck. Yes, it's interesting playing 3 Ghost Quarters in the main deck. Is that typical of the Lands deck?
Yeah, I mean, like there's a lot of greedy mana bases in Legacy.
Is that was that a cycle land? Was it?
Yeah, so that is from one of the new sets. That is a Sheltered Thicket, is it? Yeah.
Yeah, it must be Sheltered Thicket. Yeah, it's it's cool to see some. I always love seeing the new cards make it in Legacy in the Eternal formats. Okay, Monastery Mentor. Now, that's going to be interesting with Tabernacle because obviously they sort of work against each other. The Tabernacle and all the tokens that Mentor's going to generate. But I guess Hamish's plan's probably going to be make a couple of tokens, make them big, and just attack with them.
We're also seeing not only the power of Deathrite by taking lands out of Jake's graveyard, which obviously any deck that is playing Life from the Loam, being able to take cards from their graveyard is excellent, but also playing Cabal Therapy works very well with Monastery Mentor generating tokens.
That's right. So, what are we waiting for? We're waiting to see if this Cabal Therapy resolves, or are we waiting to name? Okay, it's resolved. We don't know what he named.
Crop
He
rotation.
named Crop Rotation. Good name. Well done. Well played. He didn't see his hand earlier, did he? No, I didn't. This is the first time we've revealed hands. Well, he's writing down all the cards, so I'm assuming so. That was well played.
Yeah, there's also the decision of whether or not he wants to... I mean, Life of the Loam, like... Cabal Therapy in Life of the Loam is not really that great a value, but he's also now has more creatures than he has lands, and it's whether or not he wants to just sack something so he doesn't have to lose it to Tabernacle.
Yeah. Well, I guess actually is another odd point, isn't it? Because you don't usually want the Life from the Loam in someone's graveyard, especially if they don't already have lands there. You want them to spend their 2 mana to put the lands there first.
Another cycle land there for Jake.
Which is interesting because now that gives Hamish an extra mana to spend to pay for Tabernacle in upkeep.
I guess it's one of those things where he needs to just... He only had, he had 3 lands and Life in the Loam in hand. He needs a bit, maybe more action or something else.
I might have played the Life there just to get it in my graveyard to dredge. I don't play lands, so I'm not going to pretend to be an expert, but I might have wanted it in my graveyard. I'm not sure.
So Hamish is choosing not to...
okay.
So he sacked the token, chose not to tap Deathrite for mana.
Okay, so he's obviously valuing his Deathrite Shamans a bit more than a big dumb token. But Monastery Mentor itself sort of presents a clock anyway, so... Alright, he's getting sacked.
And, yeah, Gitaxian's probe will get another token back.
Yep. Did the old sack token, make a token. Freebie Cabal Therapy. Yeah. So it's on the stack. And we're probably going to cast Crop Rotation in response.
I feel like you definitely want to cast it rather than just get it taken.
Yeah, you get the value, that's right. I'm not sure what you get. Okay, so just a Tager. It's actually hard to sort of say who's ahead. I feel like Hamish is just ahead, but...
Yeah, lands can do a lot of stuff. So
yeah, well, it can do this. It can make a 2020 token.
Yep. That also flies. That's quite helpful.
And he's got the Thespian Sage, so the stage will make that Cabal Therapy, I think, is removed from the game, isn't it? Yeah, they've missed the It does. I don't think it matters, but I'm pretty sure that Cabal Therapy in Hamish's graveyard is supposed to be removed from the game, or in the exile zone. Okay, and Source of Plowshare gets the 2020 token. Okay, and there we go. So, Jake's got plenty of life to play with, and
he has a way to get those lands right back.
Yeah,
Life from the Loam.
So we'll do the little dance again, I would say. Oh, yeah, and we fixed that Cabal Therapy. It's in the right spot now. This has been a very swingy game, actually. Really fun to watch. Life from the Loam. Let's get some lands back. Alright, we're going to eat them first, though, with Deathrite Shaman.
Is that the Ghost Quarter?
I'm not sure what he removed then.
I think that looks like a Ghost Quarter. Yeah, so he's removed the Ghost Quarter. I guess Hamish was worried about getting punished by the Tabernacle.
Yeah, well, he's going to run out of basics soon. How many basics did we say?
I think it was 3.
A couple.
So there's a swamp, there's a plains, and an island.
Yeah, so 3. Yeah. So Hamish valuing the...
Once again, we see the token bite the dust.
We're just going to bash in. Alright. Keep it simple.
It's that hidden mode on Deathrite. It can actually attack.
Yeah, 1 point of damage too, yes.
We don't see it often, but it does happen.
Interesting. You wouldn't have been tempted to hold up one of the Deathrite Charmers just in case Jake does something with Life from the Loam. He was probably going to dredge Life from the Loam in draw step.
Yeah, even just trying to...
Okay, or he's just going to dredge it now with the cycling the thicket.
Yeah, I guess it's the what is the 1 damage versus exiling one of his lands, and
I guess he's not under immediate threat. He needs the Thespian stage and a Dark Depths to really... is that the...
Exploration?
Yeah, that's exploration.
So
that's right.
extra land his turn, and he's got the
the
combo.
there you go. So he
combo
was.
with the mana to do it.
So he actually didn't need the graveyard to do it. All right. So does Hamish have another swords in hand? Is probably a big question. Do you create a 2020 in block here as well?
I feel like you don't create it now. Like,
yeah,
when you're at 25 life, you don't
care.
care.
No, of course not. Yeah.
Deathrights. I mean, he's on 16. If he was on, 18 or 20, when you can gain that life to get above 20, it would potentially be relevant. But see what Hamish can pull out.
Right, he's fetching, so it looks like he might have a swords in hand.
His deck has 3.
Basic planes, a very pretty basic planes. I think there's a planes. I am assuming, and another 20 life for Jake.
It's a scrub land.
That's a scrub land. Okay.
Obviously.
Oh yeah, clearly. It's a wonderful looking altar, but a bit hard to tell what it is on commentary. Okay, so back to 41 life for Jake.
And with 2 lands a turn, we're going to get some... Jake is going to be able to get some advantage pretty quickly.
Yeah. Now, Hamish has obviously decided to pick sort of a bit more of a controlling kind of mode and not get aggressive with his Monastery Mentor. But he's only got 1 card in hand too, so I guess you can only get so aggressive.
Well, I guess it's also he's been tied up with mana the whole game with Tabernacle. While it hasn't killed any of Hamish's creatures, it has put a strain that maybe he can't do as much as he would normally want to do.
Yeah. See, and right now, why did those? I can't remember why those Deathrite Shamans got tapped. Did they attack?
They've been attacking all game. Yeah.
See, right now, like after the Life from the Loam being played, we're sort of seeing the value of what leaving the Deathrite Shamans untapped probably would have provided.
Yeah, I especially think after your swords twice. Yeah, I mean they have taken those Deathrights have probably dealt 6 to 8 damage and it's helping, but stopping Jake from being able to get 3 lands every single time he casts Life from the Loam.
Yeah, I think you stop the Ancestral Recall, especially in the deck. It's based around this. It wants to draw the 3 lands every turn. Okay, so Hamish just drew Force for turn, so I don't think that really helps much at all.
Well, I mean, he also has kept the Deathrights back.
Yeah, this time he's kept them back, yeah. Which I think is correct. It's on 39 life, an extra couple of damage. It's not really going to do much. Okay, so a Tundra? It looks like a Tundra's been ghost corded.
So we'll see some of those basics in play now.
Okay, here comes... Oh, a non-altered island.
It is still pretty. It's from
Alright, we're dredging
unstable.
Loam again. And a couple of wastelands this time. That was a draw step dredge, I believe.
Yeah, those wastelands are going to be
here comes
pretty good.
The Life from the Loam. Now,
this is where
surely
we're going to see some
Deathrite activations. That's right. Yeah, and we got two Deathrite Charmers to take advantage of here. Remove the 2 Wastelands. Interesting, he left Ghost Quarters behind, being that he's only got 1 more basic to fetch for.
I mean, when you still have 1, you would rather that Ghost Quarter be used than the Wasteland.
Oh no, so I keep thinking that. So he's got 2 basics in play at the moment: a swamp, an island, and there's a scrubland and a. Is that a Bayou?
Yeah, I think so.
It's a Bayou. Oh no, wait, there's more writing on it than that. It might be Underground Sea.
Well, yeah. So, Toon.
Yeah, it's a sea.
Yep.
It's a sea. Okay, where are we at the moment?
So he's paying for Tabernacle?
Okay, we're in upkeep. Okay. Oh, and there's the basic. That Ghost Quarter's looking a bit better now. Well, I guess Jake doesn't actually know that Hamish is only running 3 basics in his deck, but you start to suspect when you see that
I feel like Legacy, there's certain decks you know have a bunch of basics. You're versing D&T, you're versing Mono Red, some brews. Other than that, you know there's going to be very limited amount of basics.
Yeah. Alright, so let's get rid of a Ghost Quarter and play a Baleful Strix.
Draw a card.
Well,
Strix can block.
Strix can block a 2020 flying. It's flying trample though, isn't it? I can't remember.
I don't know.
No, it's indestructible. It's flying indestructible. So yep, okay, they will buy him a turn against a flying monster. Alright, let's add just a draw for turn for Jake. Siding against Dredging for Loam this turn.
I guess there was no lands already in the graveyard. I mean, you risk it being taken by. Oh no, so he only has the plane so up, so he can't grab it just yet. Yeah.
Well, you can't. Once you've gone to draw step, you can't.
Jake would have some cycling lands where you can instant speed dredge.
Yeah.
So that's.
Yeah, that's true.
So again, same 3 creatures are going to be kept in play.
The Mentor's going to start going to town soon, I believe. Get Probe.
Pain the Life.
Pain the Life. And what do we see? We see, is that a Glacial Chasm?
Yep, and then the Dark Depths, the
Thicket? Is that
Thicket, and the last one looks like a green spell.
I think it's a Loam. I think it's... Looks like the edge of a Life from the Loam. I'm comparing it to the other one on top.
That's true. It does look similar.
Yeah. So Glacial Chasm. Yeah. Does that prevents
combat damage?
Combat damage has a cumulative upkeep of 2 life, if I remember correctly.
He's got the life to play with. That's for sure.
He does have the life to play with.
But I feel like he's under no threat to play at the moment.
No. It's an interesting card. I know there's been some interesting combos.
I think it's the card you never want to draw in this deck. It's just, you want to be out of crop rotation for when you need it to save you. And other than that, you don't want to ever see it.
Yeah. That's right. It's sort of a...
like a one-of utility land.
This deck's deep. Like... Alright, so
he went for the dredge and unfortunately
okay, so that's
exiled.
That's weird. I would have waited for draw step.
Yeah, I guess if he has a Death Ride up, I guess he has a second one. He has a second one in his hand.
One of them was tap. Oh, he's got a second life and Loam in his hand, yeah.
So I guess that's the case of you play chicken and you don't mind if you lose.
Yeah.
So, Punishing Fire would be nice to get rid of Death Ride and then get it back and deal with the other one. What is Jake going to do?
Gamble. Let's gamble.
So what do you reckon he's looking for?
Well, the normal target's Life from the Loam, isn't it? But in this case, he might go get a land because he's got Loam in his hand. And you can see he's sort of going into the tank a little bit now because it's not a normal spot for gamble. I'm trying to go into
maybe
punishing
just
fire.
Punishing fire or crop. Yep. So he did get a
Yeah.
punishing fire.
Yeah.
So this time you do care if you discard it. With Life and Loam, you don't care.
Yeah. Well, if he discards it, it's going to be he'll be able to kill a Deathrite straight away and buy it back, kill it straight away, and then won't be able to buy it back again. They're doing the old 1 to 5 thing. Hasn't I think
he's got to be happy with that.
Yeah. So now he can kill a Deathrite straight away while they're tapped. Buy back the punishing fire straight away.
He won't be unless he.
Yep. Gain
a life.
Hamish gains a life. He uses the 1 red floating to buy it back. He won't be able to kill the other one straight away without
cracking.
Oh no, he could do it, couldn't he? And well, he doesn't know this, but Hamish only plays 3 Deathrite Shamans in his deck, so the odds are getting lower for Hamish to draw another Deathrite.
So Jake is just happy to wait.
Yeah, I think that's probably. I mean, we have knowledge of deck lists, so.
Well, I guess it's also he doesn't want to leave it in his graveyard
to get
full
eaten.
stop. He's like just in case, keep it in hand.
I'm not sure what I'd be worried about in the main deck. We're still in game 1. Post-board, I might be worried about surgical extractions and things, but
maybe just wants to be clean.
Yeah.
No risk on any spicy one-offs.
Now, when I'm trying to think of the triggers now with Deathrite Shaman, it's going to get complicated. So if he tries to punishing fire, he'll be able to just kill the Deathrite Shaman without any real dramas.
Yeah, so how does Hamish come back? With he's got Mentor out, but how does he come back from Tabernacle and this end? Well,
how's Jace? How's Jace for you?
Hamish is one step ahead of us, and he has a plan.
Oh, he's going to Fate Seal himself. Why would you do that over Brains?
He wants to plus it up to get rid of add a punching fire
range. Yep, that's right. No, that's well played. That's why I'm here in the commentary booth and not playing today. I don't go that deep.
Yeah, I think that's the great thing about Legacy, and I guess all Eternal formats is there are so many lines and decisions to make that, at least for me, I play Death and Taxes, and it feels like every game you're learning new things. And
there's a deck I don't want to play either.
Yeah.
There's a deck I don't want to go that deep. Play some dumb colourless things or Infect. That's about my wheel.
I mean, either lands is also something that a lot of.
I could not play this deck.
Well, I couldn't afford this deck.
Yeah. Yeah, those Tabernacles aren't cheap. Is that a fail to find fetch land just then? We fetched and didn't find.
So that would be because, let's have a look. There's 2 Tigers.
They're both on the table.
1 Forest. And...
which is on the battlefield as well. Swamps? No swamps.
No.
Wow. Got exiled. What he wanted got exiled by the Deathrite Shaman. So he forgot to look in his exile pile first. Yeah, I guess that's not something that you're very used to when you play lands. You don't usually run out of lands to fetch for, do you?
There is a lot of lands in this deck. There are 35 in this list.
All right, and I'm sure he's probably now going to tank a little bit about what he can fetch for with these wooded foothills. which I think there's a lot more forests, aren't there, or mountains and forests. There's actually not that many fetchable lands in the deck, is there?
No, a lot of utility lands, running the full 4 Grove at the Burn Willows as well. 4 Wasteland, 3 Ghost Quarters.
Okay, we see a Brainstorm activation. Alright. I think Mentor's going to start doing a thing here.
Is that Oh, it's Rick, okay. I thought it was
Is that a Brainstorm? Where's that altar? I'm trying to make it out.
No, yeah, it's Brainstorm. It's I assume it's Rick from
Rick and Morty. Yeah, okay.
For a second with the eyes, I thought it was Moleman from
Hans Moleman.
Yeah. Okay, so again, last we're gonna get Punishing Fire back.
Okay. Do you try to kill the Mentor? Maybe not after Brainstorm, double Brainstorm.
Yeah, maybe if you know you can get it back in the same turn and cast it again, so you can deal 4 damage rather than just 2. Because this deck is built around playing instants to be able to pump it.
Another
cycling.
thicket. Oop. Yeah, that's what happens to that. They get tapped, they don't go into your graveyard. Jake certainly is going into the tank here. He's got a few not obvious decisions to make.
So it looks like I think Hamish is quite familiar with Land's deck and knows what he wants to do. I think it looks like Jake is maybe a little bit unsure exactly how to combat Esper Mentor.
Yeah, well, I'll admit I don't know much about Esper Mentor at all. At least lands is something I'm familiar with. I've played against it lots, and
I think Esper Mentor is also it can be obviously quite controlling. You're running Jason counters and a lot of draw spells, but Esper Mentor can become very aggressive very quickly.
Yeah, well, I have to admit the restraint that Hamish has showed in this game, not to just spew out a bunch of the tokens and attempt to win, which probably wouldn't have worked with the Tabernacle.
I mean, now he has a lot more lands in play. Maybe I'm sure it's a route he's considering.
Is this a hard cast Force of Will on the gamble? It is. I do admire the monk tokens. I think they're RK post tokens.
They are?
Yeah. I have RK post monk tokens myself, and there's a Punishing Fire to kill the Mentor in response to the trigger, the prowess trigger. And I went with Yoda ones though.
Oh yep.
Yeah,
nice.
they're very cool.
This is also Hamish's sort of brew of Esper Mentor. So obviously he's very familiar with his own deck and has made deck building decisions. That's why we see some of the fun ofs, which we haven't really seen yet.
No, I'm hoping to. I would like to see a Fact or Fiction play. I loved that card. I remember being so excited about 10 years ago, winning a foil one in a tournament once. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. It's doesn't see so much play anymore.
Yeah, I guess
you don't get to play with Dig Through Time and Treasure Cruise in Legacy anymore, so they were very short-lived.
I never played with them in Legacy, but I played with them in Modern, and I enjoyed that.
We enjoyed that. I still enjoy playing them in Vintage, so yeah.
That was the only time I've found Modern fun.
Yeah, good to draw cards.
Okay, so brainstorming off the Jace there. So I guess Hamish is going to look for what he wants. He looks like he's got another Mentor in hand. Snapcaster looks like it's going back maybe.
How does Jake win this without using... Oh, no, I guess... Well, he goes another Mentor.
I think Jake's line has to be end of turn, make a
2020 monster. Okay, and here's a Thoughtseize, which misses, completely whiffs. There is a Dark Depth in Jake's hand. Oh, and here we go. Here's a bunch of
There's a
monk
lot of tokens. And a lot of prowess triggers as well.
And what's the attack for? We got Maze of Ith, which takes one out of combat.
So I think there's 2 prowess triggers.
So that would be
Or
3 damage.
Let's have a look.
I think it's on 23. Yep. Okay. We can do this. It's not complicated at all. Be interesting to know how much time's left in the round, because when a game 1 goes this long, you've got to start thinking about when's a good time to scoop it up and attempt to quickly win back. I guess.
So you had a Life from the Loam there.
We'll draw some more cards.
We'll cycle. We're going to get Life from the Loam cast.
Yep.
So
I feel like we've cycled that same thicket a lot in this game. It's been going to work.
It definitely does some work in this deck. And Hamish is just naming Bob every time he's casting Cabal Therapy.
Does lands often play Dark Confident?
Often, some of the lists do, because I mean, like, most of the time you're gonna draw over a land, so it's basically a free draw.
Yeah.
Punishing Fire going to work, killing that
Next Mentor.
And we had Producer Rock play, which kills the graveyard, so Snapcaster Mage gets a lot worse.
Oh, I'm just wondering whether he plays Snapcaster Mage in his deck.
Yeah, there's
3 of, yep.
3 for
and
Hamish.
1 Jace. Brings
So-
Prodigy.
Still got those 4 tokens, all our prowess, so unfortunately it's not going to take over the game like Mentor does, but you can still pump out a lot of damage.
What's this? So you would need to cast 5 spells to win now, so that's probably not happening. So he's probably just... Yep, okay. Dealing 3 damage.
Maze of Ith, one of them.
Probably holding up some counter spells.
So Hamish gains a life, Jake gets Punishing Fire back into hand. And I feel like we're going to get... Well, I mean, I feel like you probably protect your life rather than go after the Jace. I guess Hamish is a 13. There's also the option there that you...
Well, he hasn't... It's hard.
Yeah, it's... Do you kill a token to sort of save yourself some future damage? Do you knock Jace down, or do you go for your opponent's life total? It's when do you switch gears?
Yeah, I don't think you go for the life total. I think Jake's behind at this point. I guess I'd slow... I don't know. I think Jace is the biggest threat on this board right now, but you're not going to kill that with... So
you can get it back twice. And so how many
cast
red
it
sources?
once.
So 2 red sources plus the 2 groves.
8. You might be able to... Might be able to kill the Jace. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No, he's got a heap of...
Well, you could
be able to
end
do
it
it next
end a
turn.
turn. But I mean, also, Hamish has brainstormed for a couple of turns now, so I'm sure his hand is...
He's probably got some
pretty
counter
gas,
spells,
yeah.
that's right. Yeah, and he's happy just to ping away for it. And we've just been told there's only 15 minutes left in the round, so this is still game 1. I would seriously be considering picking him up, I think, right now if I was Jake. Because I can't see how I'm going to win this game.
Well, yeah, but I can't see him winning 2.
Yeah, and there we go.
So
Unless there was a way he could... Did he have a 2020 monster activated there and an end step going to attack it? He did. He did have the 2020 monster assembled, and Hamish had no way to interact with it. I just assumed that he was going to have some way to interact with it.
So let's have a look
Okay,
at
so Jake wins that one. Okay, I was actually surprised by that.
So Jake in the sideboard, he has, let's have a look. He has Lean Under the Veil to name. Pithing Needle, Rest in Peace, Surgical Extraction. They all sound great.
It's got Drop of Honey.
And so Hamish conceded.
I don't think Drop of Honey comes in this match. Kozlik's Return might.
Yeah, clear out the death rights.
Alright, and Hamish has Zealous Persecution, Surgical Extractions, they probably come in. Rest in Peace probably comes in. Pithing Needle probably comes in.
Yep, because it can name a land.
Meddling Mage.
Maybe you name it.
Maybe.
Because you can name name
Lime.
Punishing Fire or Life from Alone.
Yeah.
Stop
Liliana
off
of Last Hope probably stays. Veil, not that good. Gideon, Ally of Zendikar probably doesn't come in. Flusterstorm doesn't come in. And Engineered Explosives I don't think comes in. So
yeah, it also depends on what you take out. I feel like you definitely don't want Hymn to Torak in your deck versus lands.
No.
I feel like that's very minimal return. You definitely want Council's Judgment. You definitely want Baleful Strix. Maybe you...
Sadly, Factor of Fiction might not be a card that stays in this match.
Force of Will.
It doesn't seem very good, does
Yeah.
it? No. Force of Will seems bad in this.
Yeah, so often you might put in cards from your sideboard that aren't amazing, but they're just better than what you have main deck.
Yeah.
Like Meddling Mage might not be great, but probably better than Force of Will.
Yeah. I was surprised that Jake actually got there in the end. I just assumed with all the Jace activations that Hamish was going to have some kind of interaction to deal with the 2020 monster being assembled.
Yeah, because he'd already cast 2 Swords to Plowshares,
Oh, that's
and
right, he
his
had, and he
and
only
his
ran
graveyard
3.
got exiled, so he then couldn't snapcaster them back.
Council Judgment is sorcery speed too.
It is, yep. And the Jace is sorcery speed as well, so
That's right.
the bouncer creature. Okay, so we're just having a look what Hamish is taking out. He's taking out a Mentor, Jace Vin's Prodigy, Fact or Fiction, Baleful Strix, surprising, Toxic Deluge, and the 2 Cabal Therapies.
Okay.
So he's putting in Flusterstorm, 2 Duress, Liliana the Veil, Gideon, Engineered Explosives, Liliana the Last Hope, and also Zealous Persecution. Wow.
No, I think that's what's left in his
Sideboard, okay.
sideboard. Yeah.
That makes sense. Because I would not have put any of those cards in.
Yeah.
That's why we're in the booth here.
Yeah, that's right. Self-professed, not good Magic players.
So if that's the cards that are left in there. So he's put in Meddling Mages, he's put in Pithing Needles, he's put in Rest in Peace, and he's put in Surgical.
It's pretty much exactly what we said. Okay, we can play this game sometimes, Liam. It's all right.
Okay. So let's
see if we can figure out what Jake has done. He has left in Spheres of Resistance. He's got 4 spheres left in his sideboard, 3 Frozen Grips, Trinisphere. I think that's a Ghost Hoarder.
Glacial Chasm, Caracas are in there, Dark Depths.
So he's taken out a Crop Rotation, a Maze of Ith, a Dark Depths, a Mana Bond, a Glacial Chasm, and a Caracas.
So the Chokers come in.
Drop of Honey has come in.
The Kozilek's Return has come in. And maybe the Surgical as well.
Yeah, it looks like Surgical has come in, and Tireless Trackers have come in. Yeah, okay.
So I guess Tireless Trackers also can be quite a big clock. So looks like they're just resolving this. Oh, it's okay. Yep.
Okay, we're off to the races. Alright.
Don't see any turn 1 acceleration? Yes, we are.
Go. So is this going to be a turn 1? Nope, just past the turn.
still a
Looks like
nice advantage.
Hamish has a surgical in his hand. Looks like it.
Yeah, well, he's only got 2, so I don't know whether you want to fire it off straight away.
No, I think you hold surgical until there's something that you want to remove in his graveyard, a dark
Like
depths
a life from the
or a
loam
life
or
from the
life from the
loam.
loam. Yeah, so some way to stop any of the combos that are in land decks.
Yeah. And it's a Baleful Strix. Jake admiring it. All of Hamish's cards have been checked by the judge, so we know that there's no problems with any of them here. Oh, and there's the stage.
Oh.
Yeah.
Hamish has got to be worried. I mean, like... Yeah, that's...
Lance sometimes does what Lance do. Gipro, well,
and
now he gets to have a look.
Okay,
And he's got the combo.
Yep.
And Drop of Honey. So Drop of Honey, let's read the text on Drop of Honey, because it's not a normal card that you see every day.
The Oracle text is all in one, not the
card
text.
Well, let's definitely read the Oracle text. At the beginning of your upkeep, destroy the creature with the least power. It can't be regenerated. If 2 or more creatures are tied for the least power, you choose one of them. When there are no creatures on the battlefield, sacrifice Drop of Honey.
Unfortunately, Thoughtseeds was cast and goodbye Drop of Honey.
Okay, well, the dream was short-lived.
It's also important to note, like Tabernacle, it destroys the creature, which when you have a 2020 indestructible that cannot be destroyed, you start to see some nice...
there's nice interactions there. So, Hamish has had a really interactive hand, but...
Sorry, it looks like the first cast was a Cabal Therapy and then a Thoughtseize.
We knew he had him in hand, so hard to tell with these altars. So Hamish had a really interactive hand, but I don't know whether anything's actually going to interact with the Dark Depth.
So he just the Thespian Sage is now a Taiga? Yep,
It is, okay.
So you get some extra red and or green mana.
And here is Dark Depths.
I guess sometimes you forget that it doesn't just copy Dark Depths.
Dark Depths, yeah. Yeah. I'm a derp 2020. Now,
again, Hamish does have the blocker, so buy himself a turn.
There was no Punishing Fire in Jake's hand either, so he would have loved that Drop of Honey to be in play though right now. Here's a Jace.
Well, this is a great setup for Hamish because Wasteland is staying on top. Because
I'm not sure we saw that. Do we need it
again?
Yeah.
So he's going to draw that Wasteland. Because Jake's not going to make it at the moment. There's no way he... Because it gets blocked and then it gets bounced, so that's no good.
It probably should be said that the life totals aren't 13-19, I believe.
Oh,
Are they? Oh no, they might be 13-19.
He's fetched and he's probed and he's Thoughtseized.
There's still lots of thoughts. Okay, sorry, alright, take it all back.
So now Hamish is looking for a way to start putting some pressure onto Jake, because not losing is okay, but when you're a game behind, you also need to win.
Yeah, with not much time in the round. You draw the Bajuka Bog for turn and remove a graveyard. Extreme patience being shown here.
The stage is a Grove of the Burn Willows. Life from the Loam there.
Ooh, there's a bit more of a choice. And he's going to leave it on top. I guess he's got that surgical.
And it looked like he had looks like Hamish also had a swords in hand, I think.
Okay. So with that swords in hand,
He's got 3 ways to deal with
the dark depths. Yeah.
combo.
So just the block bounce with Jace bot is, yeah. So Jake really needs to deal with that Balefield Strix first. So this very aggressively played Jace, ticking up, may actually get there.
So maybe that's how he's going to
and
win.
this punishing fire and go straight to the bottom. Doesn't even think about it. Get that stuff down the bottom. And let's surgically extract here your life from the loans while we're at it. Yeah, let's find them quickly. You can see Hamish racing through this because I think he's running out of time. Well,
They are exiled. That engine is gone from the game, at least for this game.
now, so Jake really would like to.
So the plan is to ultimate Jace.
Interesting.
And then mill.
Yeah. Interesting that Hamish's play then was to bottom the punishing fire and then cast surgical extraction because he already doesn't know the top card of Jake's deck. May as well shuffle now.
Yeah. There's 3 minutes left in the round as well, so I guess maybe at this stage Hamish is playing to win this and draw rather than. Like, there's no way they can finish a game in 3 minutes with these decks.
It's unlikely. I guess Monastery Mentor might. Oh, no, Dark Depths could definitely, yeah. They could possibly play it, but it's looking like we're going to have a draw. Looking like.
So, Jake is ghost quartering his own land, his bog. To get a basic. We're saying about all these lines that the decks can play, that is...
And I'm trying to think of why.
He wants the green mana, I guess.
Why is he searching now? No, he's just having a look. Okay.
So green mana. So
do we know? We don't know what's in his hand, do we?
You played that wasteland. You got the wasteland and bog have both been played, which we got drawn.
Okay.
Talus Tracker there. No,
okay.
No, he's activating.
This is in main phase. Interesting. I wonder if it's a crop rotation. He can protect it from.
Oh, so that was end step.
That was end step. That was end step. Okay, I was confused on where we were. Crop rotation. He's going to give it protection from blue, I'm guessing.
Let's have a look.
Yeah, sorry. Oh no, he's going to get the barbarian ring.
So he's going to kill
remove the blocker. Now, does Hamish have the swords in his hand?
I think it's actually a Snapcaster Mage.
Oh.
I think.
Well, we're going to kill that Balefield Strix. And there
it is. So Jake has got it.
Congratulations, Jake. That was an awesome game to watch.
Yeah, that is a great thing about Legacy, that there is so many lines, so much play. These two obviously know their decks very well. There are a lot of different ways the games can turn, of when you change from being the sort of aggressor to controller. We saw multiple times those games from back and forwards.
Lance just comes out of nowhere to win, doesn't it? Both of those games I thought Hamish actually had the upper hand, but the Lance just went, no thanks, I'll just make a 2020 monster and win. Anyway, that was the end of round 3. We'll be back in a little bit with round 4.
So Jake Sims wins 2-0.
Yes.